Morning, lovelies. I hope you're all good. I've been doing lots of videos recently about my own stuff that's been going on, and I kind of forgot that I need to be promoting 𝑄HHT as well. It's about getting a balance, isn't it? So today I thought I would share with you some of the lives that my clients have experienced when we've been doing their 𝑄HHT sessions. And obviously I can't give you the details of the life because that's that client's information, that's confidential. But I sat down this morning and I went through a whole bunch of all of my case notes, because each time I see a client I make notes about what the session has been, what it's offered really. And so I went through a whole bunch of them. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds now, but I thought I would share with you some of the types of lives that people see, experience, explore in a 𝑄HHT session with me. So I do a lot of off-planet lives. We've travelled through Lemurian lives, when somebody was custodian of a galaxy, just specific energy, just an energy life off planet, crystalline rock as well on alternative planets. I've worked with a client who was working in a space station on another planet, basically looking after that, which was interesting. Lots of Egyptian lives. I've worked with people that have been priestesses, slaves, bodyguards to the pharaohs. I've done lots of ancient lives, ancient kind of like 𝕃𝕀𝔽𝔼 life. That was really interesting. Obviously, as you would expect, witches, healers, shaman, you know, they all come up a lot. Medicine women, they come up a lot as well. Simple early cave dwellers, which are really interesting because they don't really have a language as such. They kind of, you know, work with each other in their language is sort of symbols and noises and stuff. That's really interesting. Worked with an American Civil War pilot, a bunch of people who have been soldiers within the First World War, which is interesting. Native American Indians, again, really, really interesting. I do work with people when they are still fetus in the womb before they come into the life, which is interesting, really interesting. Tribal lives, in jungles as warriors and tribe leaders. Atlantean lives, I've done quite a few of those. I worked with somebody who was a creator of holding magic, which was really interesting. I've worked with a client who was a stillborn baby of Queen Victoria, which was really interesting. Lots of medieval lives, you know, like dark lives. When one person I worked with was responsible for killing members of the community if they refused to go to church. Lots of farming lives. Dolores kind of calls a lot of the lives potato lives because, you know, some of them are quite dull, to be honest, but there's lots of interesting ones too. Nomadic hunter-gatherers. I've done some explorers of new worlds. That was interesting. I've had a couple of people that have been explorers in the early kind of 1500s. Had a person who was part of the mob in America in the kind of 20s. A lot of poverty-stricken lives where people are prostitutes. Work with a lot of women that have been prostitutes in past lives as well. And then people that have had lives with excessive wealth and royalty status as well. I've worked with somebody who's experienced the Black Plague. A lot of ethereal lives, fairies, dragons, lots of those going on. Victorian lives in beautiful cobbled streets. And the kind of roles that people have held, and worked with people that have been previously actors, poets, writers. In fact, I worked with one lady who knew her name as the writer in that life and was actually able to go back and research it when she left the session, and she knew her name, so she could find out what books she'd written, and that was really, really exciting. Fishermen, dancers. I've worked with people that have been ballerinas, Russian ballerinas, lots of religious figureheads as well, which has been interesting. And again, animals, you know, we've all evolved from nature, and we would all have been in animal form previously as part of the soul journey, and a lot of community animals, so that we understand what it's like to be part of a community, so that when we choose to have a life within a sort of a human body vessel, if you like, or a galactic body vessel, we need to understand what that's all about. So see lots of bird lives, fish lives, donkey lives, I've seen those, a squirrel, butterflies, and I even worked with a lady once who was a grain of sand. I've worked with people that have connected with source. People have gone back to the very initial experience of splitting away from source. I mean, it's crazy. It blows my mind every time. But what we really need to remember is that each one of these lives offered the individual lessons. You know, they chose to have that life experience before they came here because they wanted to learn from it, whether it was learning to, you know, accept forgiveness, whether it was learning to love, whether it was learning to be loved, whether it was learning envy, hatred, outcast, all of this stuff that we have to learn as a soul before we understand what total mastery of life is, you know, until we've created absolute soul evolution. So I wanted to share that today. I can't share all my sessions because obviously that's not something that I'm able to do. I've shared my own 𝕃𝕀𝔽𝔼 sessions before, my life as a messenger angel, my life as a ℏ𝔸𝕊𝕋, my life as a slave girl, and they're all on my YouTube channel. So they're interesting to listen to because obviously I can share my own, but I don't like to share clients, and it's such a personal thing that I'm not able to do it. But I felt like today I wanted to tell you a little bit more about what I get to experience in these amazing quantum multi-dimensional 𝕃𝕀𝔽𝔼 sessions. So, and what we need to remember is the reason why people go back to these lives is because the life will be having an effect on them. You know, I travelled back through particular lives because they were having an effect on me still. You know, I had a life as a bird, which was creating a phobia for me. I had a life as a dragonfly, which was causing me ME in this life. You know, we can still be energetically attached to these past lives without knowing that they're actually causing us behavioural struggles. They're creating ways of being, belief systems, and until we go back and allow subconscious to offer us the lives which are having an effect on us now, we don't always know why we feel the way we do. You know, I didn't. So that's a little snippet into my world. I'm waiting for my client this morning. I don't know what it's going to bring, but it's going to be amazing because it always is. So I hope that you're all well. If you've got any questions about 𝕃𝕀𝔽𝔼, then just reach out and ask me. It's all about healing. It's beautiful work. I absolutely love it. It's changed my life entirely. And I'm just here offering what I can to help the others, you know, help you guys, to help you to explore your soul journey and understand more about yourselves. So I'm sending this message with lots of love as always.